pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're calling our regular meeting to order a little differently tonight. I'm going to start right off with a resolution, 2005-9, a resolution recognizing our former Westfield Center Police Chief Chad Myers on the occasion of his retirement. And he is here tonight, and we appreciate you coming, Chad. Can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Chad, we invited you here tonight for a special meeting, really with you to say goodbye. You have in your 6 years made a real impact on this town and the residents in this community. I believe the residents have always felt safe and cared for during your time, and we just deeply appreciate that. You're always there looking out for the village, and we appreciate really all you've done. So we wanted to take a little time tonight to show you our appreciation, because we're going to miss you. And we know we got a good new chief, but we're going to miss you, what you've brought here in the last 6 years. We even have 2 judges here tonight, and appreciate that. And we even have Julie's husband. So,
Sheriff, all bases covered. I'm sitting on the sidelines over here.
So with that, I would like the council persons to form in line here, 1 through 5. Don't get out of order. 1 down here, 2 down this way.
Is this where we sing and dance?
1 down there.
Yeah, please come up so we can stand so they can.
Each one of our council persons has something to say tonight, Chad, and we'll be starting right here to the left, and that would be the resolution that the council just passed.
Whereas the council, mayor, fiscal officer, and law director for the village of Westfield Center, Ohio, hereby recognize Police Chief Chad D. Myers for his nearly 33-year commitment to protecting the lives and property of Ohio citizens, and particularly his 6 years of dedicated and faithful service to the village of Westfield Center. And whereas Chad attended the University of Akron and was certified through the Summit County Sheriff's Office Peace Officer Training Academy and Northwestern University School of Police Staff and Command. And whereas prior to being named police chief of Westfield Center, Chad retired as deputy of the Medina County Sheriff's Office after 24 years of service, including positions as Sergeant Patrol Division and Commander Medina County SWAT Team. And whereas whose law enforcement career also included positions as deputy in the Summit County Sheriff's Office, security officer at Westfield Group, and auxiliary patrolman in the Seville, Ohio Police Department. And whereas, given his diverse background as a law enforcement professional, Chad was an ideal fit for the position of police chief in Westfield Center, and began his services to the village on June 11, 2019, and has faithfully served in that capacity until his retirement on May 2nd, 2025. And whereas, throughout his tenure as police chief, Chad has provided courage and compassion in serving the Westfield community and has been instrumental in modernizing various facets of the police department, and individually has been responsible for saving lives and has been a staunch supporter of Westfield Fire and Rescue in their efforts to save lives. And whereas, as the principal law enforcement officer of the village for 6 years, he has been recognizable to village residents and an approachable friend, and as much a protector of the peace and tranquility of our community. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Westfield Center, Ohio, on behalf of the village officers, and residents, The police chief, Chad B. Myers, is hereby commended for his 6 years of service to the village of Westfield Center and for tirelessly keeping our community safe throughout his service. Be it further resolved that the official chief's badge of the village of Westfield Center Police Department, issued to and worn by Chief Myers in the line of duty, is presented to Chief Myers in recognition and honor of his service to the village of Westfield Center, Ohio.
I have a resolution from the Board of County Commissioners for Medina County, Ohio. Whereas it has come to the attention of the Board of County Commissioners that Police Chief Chad B. Myers will be retiring after nearly 33 years of exemplary service in law enforcement, including 6 years of dedicated leadership as Police Chief of the Village of Westfield Center. And whereas Chief Myers is a graduate of Wadsworth High School, pursued higher education at the University of Akron, and earned certifications from Summit County Sheriff's Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy and Northwestern University's School of Police Staff and Command. And whereas Chief Myers began his distinguished career as a deputy with the Summit County Sheriff's Office and continued to serve with distinction for 21 years at the Medina County Sheriff's Office, achieving the ranks of sergeant in the patrol division and commander of the Medina County SWAT team. And whereas his service also included roles as security officer for Westfield Group and auxiliary patrolman in Seville, further demonstrating his versatility and commitment to public safety. And whereas appointed as police chief of Westfield Center on June 11th, 2019, Chad Myers brought with him a wealth of experience and a passion for community-focused policing, faithfully serving until his retirement on May 2nd, 2025. And whereas under his leadership, the police department underwent critical modernization, while his personal courage, compassion, and unwavering support for Westfield Fire and Rescue have directly contributed to saving lives and enhancing public safety. Whereas Chief Myers has been a visible, approachable, and trusted presence throughout the village, building strong relationships with residents and fostering a culture of integrity, professionalism, and service with the department. Now therefore it be resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Medina County, Ohio, that Chad B. Myers be and hereby commended for his nearly 33 years of exemplary service in law enforcement. Be it further resolved that the board wishes to take this opportunity to offer best wishes to Chad B. Myers for his retirement. Voted on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025.
Chad, we have here a commendation from the Ohio Senate of the General Assembly of the State of Ohio, honoring Chief Chad Myers for exemplary service. On behalf of the members of the Senate of the 136th General Assembly of Ohio, we are pleased to applaud Chief Chad Myers on your retirement from the Village of Westfield Center Police Department, May 2nd, 2025. A valued member of the Village of Westfield Center Police Department, you have positively contributed to the community, and you are deserving of respect for executing your duties with discipline, loyalty, and integrity. Joining Westfield Center Police Department in 2019, you have been an inspiration to many, including your colleagues and the residents who have benefited from your leadership. And you can be proud that your sterling commitment has underscored the true meaning of serving and protecting the public. Over the years, you have given back to society far more than you have gleaned, and your selfless endeavors and earnest concern for the Village of Westfield Center stand as the hallmark of responsible citizenship. Our state owes you a debt of gratitude, for you have made the community a safer place while establishing an example of humanitarian service, unparalleled initiative, and dedication that is worthy of emulation. Thus, with sincerity, we commend you on your retirement from the Village of Westfield Center Police Department and salute you as a fine Ohioan. It is signed Senator Rob McCauley, President of the Ohio Senate, and Senator Mark Romanchuk, 22nd Senatorial District.
Next, for Chief, here we have from Lexipol Connect. It's for excellence in law enforcement policy management. Lexipol uses about 5 metrics to help departments establish whether they're meeting the mark when it comes to policy management. They have a gold level, they have a silver level, and a bronze level. And the Village of Westfield Center Police Department hit the highest mark, hit the gold level. So with that, I present this to you. Congratulations.
That is our honor to present you with your badge and also a plaque. And I read the plaque, it says, Westfield Center Police Chief Chad B. Myers. Thank you for your dedicated service and unwavering leadership to the Westfield Center Police Department. Your commitment in keeping our community safe and serving the residents of Westfield Center as a true professional has been invaluable. We wish you all the best in your retirement, presented May 7th, 2025 by Village of Westfield Center Mayor and Village Council. Congratulations, Chief Myers.
I'm overwhelmed. I really don't know what to say. Just some heartfelt gratitude for the opportunity to serve the board and the mayor here and the residents of Westfield Center. It's truly been a great honor for me to do so. It's been very rewarding for me, moving from law enforcement on a county level to on the smaller level here in the village, and being able to get to know the residents on a much better basis. I just couldn't find a better situation for myself. And I've always been thankful to the mayor, the support that he's always given me for everything that I've attempted to do here, and always have felt like I had the backing of council as well. So I'll miss the job, I'll miss the people, but thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to those of you who came here tonight to observe Chad getting the recognition he so richly deserves. And with that, I guess we'll close that, but it's been a good run. And when you got two judges and Julie's husband here, you got a complete crowd. And I'll even throw in the sheriff.
Yeah, that's all right.
With that, I'm going to move on into the regular agenda. We had this up first to not force any of you to stay and soak up all this good stuff tonight unless you really want to. So we'll expect you all to stay there and watch it. And anyhow, we'll move on. Can I have a motion to accept council minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We did. Yeah. Can I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? BPA bills are there for information. Motion to accept the fiscal officer's monthly financial reports. All those in favor? Any opposed? Body dash cam requests, sample from Montville is there, and I'll turn to our law director. What do you think?
So, when we were chatting last time, we had looked at the Brunswick policy that they have. The Montville one is not substantially different from that. The missing link we needed was what the actual charges would be. And Chief Myers at the time did check in on that and found out the way they charge is $75 per hour video, not to exceed $750 for each video record. So if council so inclined, where this began was, should we incorporate a similar provision now that the state law permits us to for public records requests involving body cam videos? Now that we know that is in fact the village's actual cost, because Montville is the one who ties the and pulls the footage for us, I think we could prepare that and have that ready to go at the June meeting if everybody's so inclined to do so. So
Council okay with that? June meeting?
well, and that was the thing, it needs to be tied to the actual cost. If those were being provided for free, we wouldn't have those.
Sure.
You know, we couldn't artificially come up with the cost, so.
Hour regardless of length.
There is a
There's
minimum.
more.
Yeah, there's kind of there's a fee structure to it. I know it's in here.
On the last page.
Yeah, so they don't exceed $75 per hour video produced from a record. So in other words, on the records, there's a production component because they have to blur out other faces and things like that before they're provided. So the excess or the total cost is $750 for each record created. So it doesn't necessarily mean each record's request, it means each record created to respond to the request. And then there's another component in related to, there's an estimate, because you give, based on what the request is, here's the estimate of costs, and if there's an excess charge over and above that, there's an additional component for that payment being passed through too. So I would just incorporate that exact cost structure that came to us from Montville into the proposed policy.
The proposed policy being this.
Well, that's the cost structure, but the policy itself would look similar to what the Montville resolution is, which is also similar to the Brunswick policy we looked at last time.
So we're not going to have to change what's posted on our website.
That's right,
So we're just back.
Yeah.
So you'll have that for us next month. Item 2, AEDs in the park. We discussed having that, and there is a consideration or two with that. I think namely that there's a cost involved. How much is one of those, Dave?
We're looking at about 2,500.
2,500, and the other component of that is it has to be unlocked.
Correct. They don't make a lockable cabinet for
It's
those.
gonna make it lockable. So you're putting a $2,500 unit out there.
I think there's some other considerations too, that in thinking about this, I was looking up what, you know, if we're opting into this requirement, I think we should assume that the village would be accountable for any shortcomings, even though we're not subject to the law. You know, you could potentially have some kind of situation where you weren't proactive enough, or they weren't close enough. And so I was looking at what the ODH, Ohio Department of Health requirements are for those bigger communities where this law is required. And they require that there to be some kind of an emergency action plan around that then is established, and there's practice components to it. There's coordination with the EMS department. There's a whole procedure around the maintenance of those AEDs once you have them in place. One of the recommendations they refer back to are from the American Heart Association. They have model rules for these, and their model rules say you should have sufficient numbers so they're within 3 minutes of access at any point. Now, would we be required to do any of that? No. Is it better to have one than not have any? Absolutely. I mean, I think that, but you start to look at how those kind of that body of, I won't say law because it's not a law that applies to the village, but how that's kind of developing as kind of the best practices. And it seems unlikely that a village this size would be compliant with those best practices. But that, you know, I don't know that in and of itself is a reason not to do it. It's something to factor into it, because once you establish it or you have it there, at least at a minimum, you know, maintenance requirements and things like that need to be considered, even if the other stuff kind of goes by the wayside at first.
Well, I don't think you can assume that one $2,500 AED is going to stay there.
Well, that was that concern too, I guess.
Well, one of the things we talked about doing was putting it inside the concession stand, which Dave and his crew would unlock prior to public use of the park for the event, i.e. hosting ball games. And then locking it back up again after the game. So unless somebody wanted to walk away with it during the game, which is not a realm of possibility,
Unlikely.
it wouldn't be available for the general public.
That worked, Dave?
That'll cover your games, but it doesn't speak to the practices.
No, but any problem there, Mr. Solicitor, with paying, covering half and not the other half?
I think you just wanna make sure everybody's aware of when it is accessible and when it's not. I mean, if something happens at a practice or at a game, I would think the most prudent initial reaction is going to be call the squad. But, if you wouldn't want to think, well, there's an AED available, and then they go and encounter a locked door, that'd be a problem.
We're not gonna be able to make every practice
Right.
knowledgeable about that it exists. It doesn't exist for them.
I think it's just part of your, your park policies or your instructions that when people have access to the park, they're just being aware of it, but we're not attempting to be in compliance with the law, because we're not obligated to be in compliance with the law. So it's making it available, and if it's only available those times, it's more available than it is now, so that's a step in the right direction.
Well, the other thing, Dave, what's your coverage on, in this time of the day? What's your second shift coverage?
This time of day, you've got the two of us
On staff.
on staff station.
I mean, from the picture, you can see the fire. So, I mean, it's, the right thing to do would be call 911 and I mean.
That's the right thing to do, even if you have one available 24 hours a day.
So, I mean, I think if we
do provide it for these games and special events up there, okay, that's, I think we're doing a good thing. But then we also, the fire station is within a stone's throw from the ball field, and it's not. And they have the coverage and stuff.
We could also consider even posting signage on the concession stand that says to the effect that there's an AED inside accessible when the building is open during certain public events. In the event the building's locked, call 911. In the event of emergency, call 911. And if this building is locked.
do we have AEDs in the cruisers?
One of the cruisers that I have knowledge of, yes.
We're not required by law, so we're our population.
It's the villages and towns under 5,000 population, I think, are exempted, so yes.
Do you really want to do this? Presents a number of hoops to wade through, whereas people can just dial 911. So I want an up or down vote on this.
Well, prior to Aaron's research, our initial conversation was based on the fact that we didn't know. So.
Fair, that was Judge Hudson's research that he did during our last meeting, I appreciate it. I'll take the credit for it.
Always good to have backup.
You can't officially.
So we let it pass. We let it pass. We let it
If
pass.
I think I might be more interested to find out if both cruisers have them, and if they don't, then maybe put another one in one of our other cruisers that does not have one. That I think,
That would
right.
make a lot of sense.
that I
Yes.
like that idea.
Yes. Okay, we'll shoot for having one in each cruiser and go from there, okay? All right. So that one. Okay, new business, water plant expansion. Dave and I met with the county, the gentleman who runs the water division. They are in the process of going to expand that water plant by a lot. And the gist of the meeting was, and Dave, you helped me with this, that if they did expand it, which I believe they're going to do, there would need to be some type of a contract agreement, whatever you want to call it, as to how they, what they would do with the water. The what do you call it? The discharge, I guess, Dave, the discharge,
Process water.
to make it okay to come to our sewer plant. Because with the expansion, it could be too much for the sewer plant if it wasn't treated. Is that a fair statement, Dave?
Correct. The TDS can be too high, which is the dissolved solids.
So as this goes down the road, we'll be looking to develop something with them. Thus far, it's not been a problem. They've stayed reasonable, and it's not that. It's not been a problem. But if they expand the water plant, my understanding from the meeting and from Dave, it will be a problem unless it's fed to us in a proper manner. Right? Do I have all that correct, Dave?
That is correct.
Okay. So we'll see what comes down the pike on it. That meeting's been a good month or two. And I haven't heard anything more on the expansion. So, maybe he can, well, he probably don't want to tell us.
It's gonna be a longer process, and it's in the beginning stages though.
Just in the beginning stage. So it looks like it's gonna happen though. Yeah, so a part of it will be using our other law director, our backup law director, to develop the agreement for them to be able to use our sewer plant.
Dave, is there something that they can put in place to pre-treat that before we get it?
Actually, the best way to do it would be dilution, which is what they're looking at.
So they're thinking about something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're thinking of.
So, I don't know, this is an interesting timing, I was at a ribbon cutting for Bleach Tech that is in Seville. And they have expanded, and that's what they do, is they treat water. That's their main purpose. And they actually worked with Seville and their water treatment to institute different testing and better their water in Seville. I don't know if they are even aware of that company that is so local that maybe that's even something that they could work with them, or if that's even an option.
Actually, I can't speak to who they're talking to and who they're not talking to.
We do have the ability to stop them if we're concerned about feeding us to the wrong stuff down to the plant. So we have things we have to agree to work with the EPA, and so they cannot push on us what we cannot handle. So we're in an okay position. It's just a matter of making it all happen, and they realize that. Okay. Item 2, Val has mentioned that the village is 200 years old.
It will be in 26. And we received a call from a member of the Westfield Historical Society saying, oh, does anybody think about how we're going to celebrate? And I'm like, well, that's good question. I'll bring it up at council. And start thinking about it. We've got the 250th next year as well. Maybe we could tie something in and cover both. And maybe put a committee together and come up with ideas of what we can do to help celebrate the village as well as the other cities.
Val? You have done, I don't need a dump here, but you have done well with these kinds of things.
I'm willing to take it on.
If you're willing to take it.
I was gonna say, you got my vote.
I'll work with, I'll put together a committee.
Put together a committee,
Someone from the Historical Society, somebody maybe from Westfield.
at least one other councilman.
Another person from council would like to raise their hand, let me know.
Okay,
And
if they
then try
don't,
to-
you appoint them.
And try to get some people from within the village that might be interested in.
I'm sure there are, yeah.
So
And
if
the
I could-
Historical Society definitely would, yes.
Yeah, I like brainstorming, where you never know where you're gonna get the ideas that are the ones that are.
Okay, I appreciate that, Val, for bringing it up and for taking it on. Okay, thank you. Okay, next item is an add-on. Resolution of 2025-10. It's a prosecutory contract with the city of Wadsworth. And we have the Wadsworth prosecutor here. So if you have any questions, Judge, excuse me,
Oh,
I mix these people up.
that's all right.
Mayor, so the judge is here actually to do her annual report, right?
Am I on your agenda for today by chance?
You've been left off. But we will accommodate you.
Hold on, let's get this resolution.
Let me finish the resolution. Can I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules? All those in favor? Motion to approve the contract with the Wadsworth Prosecutor's Office.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And the new,
No, Wadsworth Community Judge.
Hi, I'm Judge
Prosecutor
Lewis.
separate.
Wadsworth Municipal Court Judge, and I'm here to present our annual report. My secretary did tell me she made arrangements, so I hope I'm not.
You're good.
you're good,
I
yeah.
won't take a long time. Here. Then you guys have a ton of work at every meeting, and I'm not gonna take up too much time. So the last time I presented, I brought in someone to you guys. Last time that I presented, I brought a lot of extra copies, but to save a little bit of money, this information is all available on our webpage. You can just click on it and the entire report is downloaded there. So my name is Sue Lewis, and I am the, new judge for Wadsworth Municipal Court. And just to let you know, this is the annual report for 2024. Every court has their information and present a report to the community every year. So this is actually my very first year as a judge. So last year I did create a report, but it was Judge McElvaine's year that he was there. So this is 2024. A couple of things to note. I'm trying to get more statistical information for you guys. So you may have already seen these in the past, but I've tried to break down stats per community, and I'll try to build on that. Some of the trends that we've seen within the last year were that our numbers of traffic cases have increased, including operating a vehicle under the influence, obviously a concern. Sometimes, when you look at it that way, you can always consider the fact that maybe it's just more enforcement, and that's actually keeping us safer. We at the Wadsworth Municipal Court, I'm sure everyone here knows, but for anyone that maybe doesn't, it's kind of like a name that signifies like one territorial area, but really we encompass in the Wadsworth Municipal Court the entire really southern region of our county, those beautiful areas. So our population size is 50,000. So Medina Municipal Court, and they're double in size. They're 100,000 population. We have an appointed clerk of court, and many of you may know Cassie Fry. She's been there for years, whereas like Medina maybe has an elected clerk of court. We are a very small court in terms of people who work there. There are approximately 10 people in the court. We process quite a bit of work. The jurisdiction of the court encompasses misdemeanor charges, traffic misdemeanors, small claims, civil actions under $15,000, evictions. So weddings was in the air last year. 88 people were married by yours truly. That was kind of fun. I was a juvenile probate magistrate for 18 years under the Honorable Judge Dunn, who I also graduated with. So I worked in juvenile probate for a very, very long time. And I decided to throw my hat in the ring and run for judge at the Wadsworth Court. It's my jurisdiction where I raised my kids. The judge retired and, got that opportunity. It's really nice. Sometimes I even see kids and maybe are involved in the court system as an adult. It's a really nice transition. I did a lot of very similar work in juvenile probate. And I was the chief magistrate there. So it really kind of helped me with the administration of the court. I'm kind of giving you that information just to let you know. When I started at the court in 2024, it was a very busy year, especially in the beginning. I tried really hard to work at our Supreme Court statistical guidelines. So there are some stats that you have to make, and Basically, they want you to complete your cases within 6 months. By the most part, the civil actions are a little bit longer. So we're very, very hard to try to come up with some processes to do that, to make sure, because obviously what you want to avoid is long delays in your case. It ties up the court system for other people, and people just have a difficult time when their case is pending for a long time. It makes it, in my opinion, just very, very difficult. We've always heard that adage of justice delayed is justice denied, right? So, and there's truth to that. If you have a case and it's lingering in court, it doesn't really serve a very good purpose. You don't want to go too fast, but you want to go fast enough that you're trying very hard to keep within the statistical guidelines. And I've really worked very hard towards that end. Additionally, as a new judge of the court, one of the things that became quite concerning to me was the fact that we didn't have security, we didn't have a security checkpoint. So early on, and it is required by the Supreme Court, early on, we formulated a committee, a security advisory committee, which is also through the superintendent's rules, the Supreme Court. Superintendent's rules basically are the rules that govern the court, right? What the court is required to do. We have statutes and laws and crimes and traffic, whatever. Superintendent's rules are the governance of the court. So to that end, the idea is, or was for me to implement, my goal being January 1st, 2025, to implement a security screening checkpoint equipped with a metal detector and an officer who would run it. It was not easy to get personnel. That was one of the biggest hurdles. It's tough, and it was even tougher in 2024. I think it's gotten a little bit easier. It was tough to get personnel that would work for the rate of pay, who were looking for maybe retired officers who'd be interested. It's tough to do it, put it together. But at the end of the day, it came together. It really did. There's quite a bit of back work to do for it too, whether it's ordering equipment or what have you. Those are all the things that happened in 2024. It was about putting it together, compiling the security manual that we have to have, the continuing operations manual that you need, putting it all together, and then implementation happened this year. So it wouldn't be reflected here, but the putting together part did, the recruiting that people did. So it's important for me to tell you that. At the end of the day, I'm extremely happy to report that the 4 individuals that really rotate in our security checkpoint are really amazing people. One is a retired U.S. Marshal, and one is a retired Wadsworth police officer, a sheriff's deputy, 2 sheriff's deputy, retired officers, 1 K-9 officer. They all live in Wadsworth, so it makes it very convenient to come to the court. And it really is. I'm very happy to report on. It's made the court safer. So if you look at the report, you'll see some numbers put out there, information. We had a lot of trials, 99 trials last year, 4 jury trials. I'm gonna tell you right now, they happened really quick when I first started. And in any case, it's really a special privilege and honor to be able to present this report to you. Just know that I'm working extremely hard to build on all the great work that Judge gave to the courts and people of our community. And I would invite anyone to come down to the court. It's open to the public. You're always welcome. I did want to provide you a copy. I do have 1 extra copy. If you'd like it. Any questions or anything? Thank you so much. Take care.
I have one last item as an add-on item. Had a request, and Scott Schreck is not here tonight, so I assume he's not going to follow through. He had approached Dave about additional baseball, so I tried to throw together some rough numbers so you would know if this should continue to come up, what you're probably getting into with additional baseball. High school will be transitioning out, and they are paying their way. This year, hot stove, the number of games was down. We had 18 games this year. It takes about an hour and a half of setup for each game. So that's 27 hours of setup for those 18 games at $20 an hour because it's during the workday. which is 540 plus retirement is 615.60, but it takes two guys to do it. So it's $1,231.20 for setup this year for those 18 games, approximately, in the ballpark. Those 18 games had to be played, and that's in the evening on time and a half overtime. So that goes to $30 an hour. It's about 3 hours a game. About $1,620 there plus retirements, $1,846.80 comes to $3,078. That's my estimate, or $171 a game for us to put on a game up there this year. Now, if Scott comes, he was talking to Dave about 18 games, and I don't believe we want to get into doubling our costs for baseball. And so if he comes to me, as Dave said he was going to, I would like to tell him that we're really not taking on additional expenses at this time. And we do not want to get into summer baseball. Because if we do, if it's 18 games, it would cost us another $3,000 approximately.
Not sort of ever consider paying for something like that?
It's never been, no. Well, I'm gonna say no because it's just never. We've always did the local baseball up there and handled it. But what I'm saying is, it's such a great place to play. Everybody wants to play there. That's why we get these requests, and I tend to not jump into it too much, but Scott kind of runs some of this baseball. So I wanted council's feeling on it at that kind of money for 18 games.
So do they have any other facilities that they can play this at?
I mean, I don't know that, but every other village has fields and such.
But he's just looking out for us as
He's looking for us as a place to play the.
And not
correct me if I'm
looking at
wrong,
any
Dave. Yes, they like it here, and so they want to come here.
Do we have the capacity to take on the 18 additional games, Dave?
Yes.
Pay to play.
Yes, can it be done? Yes. It comes down to.
With no hardship on you. No hardship on your end
No.
to take it on. In other words, it's not going to detract from resources that would go to.
Correct.
You know, we built that beautiful park in those ball fields. We've got 3 fields plus a practice field. I mean, how much are they being used for games outside of those 18 or other ad hoc activities? Much at all?
Cricket.
Cricket, yeah, the cricket people come in there. Yeah.
The companies used to have, weekly games of kickball and things like that up there, which they, at least.
I guess I'm just curious, is the facility at full capacity? Is it getting utilized?
Oh, no.
No, it's not at full capacity.
Oh, no, you don't. What you have is 3 people sitting at this table, obviously didn't want a baseball complex, but got voted to a complex instead of 2 fields. So yes, we have a lot of unused there, Greg. But it costs us a lot to maintain it as it is. That's true.
My only point is, I don't think we should be close to it if we could make it a revenue neutral proposition.
In other words, if they paid for the.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
That's reasonable.
we've got the field, so we've got to maintain them anyways. I mean, other than prepping for the games and stuff. So, I mean, if they could cover the cost of the prep and stuff, because we're drawing kids from all over the county.
Yes.
Play these, and I don't think it's fair to our taxpayers to be basically supporting that baseball program. So if they're willing to provide, a revenue, then, I mean, we've got the facility, but it's gonna cost.
Usually hot stove.
Well, I wasn't talking about the hot stove. I was just talking about anything new. This would be something for us to I think if we started charging our hot stove, we would have nobody paying. That's just my gut feeling. But this is about going further than we have gone. And so if we.
I think I'd like.
example is the school. They
Right.
paid their way.
Right, and that's what I was
Correct.
gonna say, I think
Correct.
if they wanna play here more than what is already, then
then
maybe
they
that's
pay,
the discussion of
Yes,
how many are you looking at, we would probably have to do a fee for rental. Go down that road.
What age range? I think the seven.
aren't they older, Dave?
Yeah, well,
Scott was thinking older or not?
he never committed to what age.
What age? Okay.
You know, currently we have the 16U and the 11U hot stove. They're using up, number 1, and number 2 fields.
Be something we could talk about this winter if we want to try to institute some kind of charges that they would assess their kids or something like that. I don't know what others do. We have always opened it up to hot stove and at the costs. But that's just $3,000 about this year, probably, to handle.
But you don't know if he wants to pursue this or not.
Well, I thought it sounded like he did, but this,
wonder if he
but
thought
if
maybe the
he
council meeting
comes to
was
me
Tuesday.
middle of the month before June,
Could've.
I brought this up because I want to be able to say to him where council is.
Well, I
I
wonder
think
if
we,
he thought
I
that.
I'd like
think we
more
treat it just like
information.
we did the high school and have them cover the
They
cost.
cover the cost. Okay, fair enough.
Probably at the ball field right now.
Okay. All right. That's all the old or new business I have. Anybody have any? Okay, engineer is not here tonight. I believe he sent a report along. Police department report.
In the month of April, we handled 7 calls for service and 3 officer-initiated calls for service for 10 calls of service in April. We didn't have any traffic crashes. We did 41 citizens assists in April and 14 assists to other agencies, which included Westfield Fire and EMS 6, Medina County Sheriff's Office 4, Seville Police 2, Lodi Police 2. We had 10 traffic stops. We did not issue any citations. We had 10 verbal warnings. And other police department business, we did order our car from Montrose Ford. After looking at different makes and models, we felt that the Ford Explorer would be the most useful for the village, for village purposes. I've reached out to Eye Candy Graphics in Medina to do the striping on the car. Once we get it in, I'm getting an estimate from them. I've contacted Halls to set up a meeting to see what equipment in that car can be utilized in the new car and what new equipment's gonna be needed for that car. So that's still in the process. That's the report I have.
Did you make a note, Dave, based on the prior conversation?
Yes, I did make a note of that. I believe both cars have one, but I didn't want to make that bold of a statement without knowing, but I do think they both have one.
Other questions for Dave?
Thank you.
Fire department, Dave.
I'm going to total of 55 incidents for the month of April. 3 of them were in Guilford Township, 1 in Lafayette Township, 3 in Lodi Village, 1 in Seville Village, 35 in Westfield Township, and 12 in Westfield Village. The calls were broke down between our day shift and night shift, with the day shift 8 AM to 8 PM of 38 calls, and night shift from 8 PM to 8 AM of 17. We gave mutual aid a total of 8 times, 4 to Seville, 3 to Lodi, 1 to Lafayette. And we received mutual aid 3 times, and all of those were from Seville. And as far as the department updates, EMS billing was billed out at $13,116. And MVA fires cost recovery was billed out at $11,248.97. We received $745.62. There are 14 resident transports, 17 non-resident, and 1 mutual aid non-resident. And as of this time, we have not missed any calls for service. And in general, as noted on the report that I've got, the event saw was sold to the Fire Bluff Township trustees. Approved that. Westfield Township, or Westfield Foundation is in the process of donating $25,000 to personnel, staff, Town and Country Fire District Station on April 21st due to their line of duty death. 37 different departments, six different counties assisted with station coverage during that time that they needed. Equipment purchases, oil change and safety inspection was completed on the brush truck on April 1st. No issues noted for a cost of $73.99. 2 smoothbore nozzles were purchased at a cost of $1,056. And oil change and safety inspection was completed on engine 1 on April 16th, and an air primer was installed due to problems with the electric primer. Repairs were made on a small coolant leak and as well as the rear differential that had water mixed with the gear fluid. Total cost is $7,356.77. 3 members were sworn in on April 7th, so we had 3 new members that we brought on. And as far as the community, there was a red maple tree planted at the station in memory of Joanne Branco. He was a village resident that recently passed away. And she was fond of the fire department, fond of trees, and her family requested that we plant, or that they can plant a tree there. And they have done so. And it's a small maple tree that you pull in the driveway and turn it into a parking lot there. Grants are in the status quo. Nothing's changed on those. And that's all I have.
Question, Dave, anything on your levy?
They were talking about that Monday night, and they're to get in contact with the board to have another meeting. The board? Yes.
Why don't you guys include that as part of your report each month, leading up to that? You know, so we know if and what, if anything's going on with it, because it's important to us too. Okay.
Very well.
Thank you.
And one other thing, we are starting with hydrants on Monday in the village. Debbie's got the information, and they've already disseminated that information to the residents. That'll be happening next week.
Mr. Pittsburgher.
April's report, we processed 7.8 million gallons of wastewater, filed the monthly EPA reports, performed all the required operational testing, all the routine equipment maintenance, and repaired the airlifts in the filter building. Your village always serviced the lighting system. In the streets, we repaired leaks in the storm sewer up on Smucker Drive, built all village properties, and cleaned and repaired the village signs. Had 1 burial at the cemetery, prepped the ball fields, denied 1 zoning permit that's going to the appeals, and approved 1 permit.
Questions for Dave?
Just a couple of quick ones, with the road repairs that were being done, are there more scheduled coming up for this season?
No, once we close up the intersection of Woods Edge and Simmons and Smucker, we're done. That went a little longer than we would have liked to have them open.
It was fine. I just was getting questions about timeline and everything like that. And I thought maybe next time, obviously, it did go a little bit longer, but we could have a timeline of maybe when it'd be completed or something, an estimate. So then I could relay to the neighbors that were asking. That's all.
Okay. Other questions? Mayor's report, no activity in Mayor's Court. I got a letter from Mr. Cox. And I forwarded a copy to Dave and forwarded a copy to Kirk Berry, and that's what I did with that. I have no comments and concerns. Law director's report.
I covered everything. I noticed when, Judge Brooks was presenting, you might have passed over the public comment session, so I didn't know if you wanted to have an opportunity for that before we move into executive
Oh,
session.
yeah, I did pass over that
So I
because
just thought it was less than anybody would leave without getting the opportunity.
anybody I deny tonight? Nobody wants to make
I was
comments.
willing to yield my
Hey,
time.
you saved me from a critical error. I appreciate that. Okay, nothing else? Nothing else? Okay, council comments and concerns. Mr. Bittner is absent. Val? Mrs. Knapp? Strokes? Mr. Robs? Mr. Walker? Our next meeting is June 3rd at 7 PM, and we have an executive session coming up for employment of personnel and purchase of land. And we'll take a short break. Anybody wants to use the restroom or whatever, and then we'll be back here in about 5 minutes to do our executive session.
Really good stuff.
Yep.